Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Like to welcome you all to the show. Everyone that was affected by this current snowstorm in Texas, I hope things work out for you. I hope you find the resources that you need and you back online real soon. But I hate to bring you this information, but after going through an experience like this, and I shared with you guys yesterday on going through this horrific ordeal with this Texas freeze, man. I mean, no water, no lights, nothing open, no gas. I mean, it was cold, pipes bursting. And now we're under a boil water notice. I mean, it was brutal, to say the least, right? And in the midst of all of that, in San Clemente, California, black man, 42 years old, was walking across the street. Two white police officers were debating should they stop him from jaywalking and if he was in fact jaywalking at all. They're having this debate in their patrol car. So they get out the car and they go and approach this 42-year-old man who was crossing the street. Right. They said, stop. He said, why? I'm walking. Why are you bothering me? Then one of the officers put his hands on him. That was obviously he was invading his personal space. The brother asked him, why are you putting your hands on me? Get your hands off me. The cop said, stop. The dude said, stop for what? He said, you are jaywalking. He was like, man, please. So he kept on walking. So the officers get in a scuffle with him, take him down to the ground. During the scuffle, supposedly, they're stating that he reached for one of the officers' guns. But the way they were on top of him and he's fighting back, it seemed like his hand was pent in that position. It's not like he voluntarily was going after the gun. So the partner that was on the bottom yelled, he's going for my gun, or he's trying to get my gun. So his partner shot him, bam. Killed a man, right? Dude died. Now, one, they had no reason harassing this individual for crossing the street when there were no cars on the street. The street was completely empty. But this goes into white privilege. They felt like this black homeless guy, one, he's homeless, so he's beneath them. Two, we're going to make you, nigga, follow the letter of the law right down to the exact letter. We don't like you. You're homeless. We wish you wasn't here. We see you as nothing. Let's get out our car and harass this black man. And as always, when two white officers get out of their car and they approach a black person, it seems like the black person always wind up dying at the hands of these white officers. And they question why people always saying that we need to defund the police. And in all actuality, we need to defund the police. This is getting out of hand. So black people put Joe Biden in office. And Joe Biden says he's the president for all America. So then we're black in America. What we need now is, if any officer is found creating a hostile environment, provoking a situation, the leading cause to the death of an unarmed man due to their actions, meaning that they had no purpose of bothering this individual for crossing the street when you were sitting in your patrol car debating whether you should stop him or not, lets you know right there that both of you wasn't in agreement. You wasn't in accord with each other. So you wasn't sure if it was jaywalking or not. You had doubt going into the situation. Then you, first of all, you had no right for putting your hands on this individual, because now it's self-preservation. Now it stands your ground, right? Now you're impeding his forward progress, right? Then you say, when he asks, why are you stopping me? Then you respond, for jaywalking. If that was the case, you would have said, you're under arrest for jaywalking. We are detaining you for jaywalking. Stop. You're jaywalking. No, at first you approached him and you just yelled out, like, stop. And he's like, for what matter of fact, how do I even know you all are real police officers? Why are you coming up to me with no charge? All you giving me is commands. I don't have to listen to your commands unless you got something behind the command. And then first you give me a verbal attack because you want to stop my forward progress. You yelling stop. Second, you put your hands on me. Now he's like, wait, what's going on? Why are you putting your hands on me? He had to ask why they were putting their hands on him to get a response from the police officer. They say jaywalk. He's like, man, come on. If you look around and if you look at the video, there are no cars in sight. All right. Then they get more aggressive and throws him to the ground. Now, one, if you're a human being and you're 42 years old, and if you're slammed on your side, it's not a scuffle. You're trying to get your body in a position that's comfortable to relieve the pain. But then that goes into white folks thinking that black people have a high tolerance for pain, that we don't feel pain. We subhuman in their eyes. We don't feel pain. They can do us any kind of way, and we just supposed to just sit and be still, you know. And so seems to me he's maneuvering to get in a comfortable position. The way they slammed it, his hand is out. And if his hand accidentally touched the holster of the police, doesn't mean he was going for the weapon. It means that the position he's in, he don't have no choice, especially the way bodies are moving around on the ground. Officer could have felt that pat. He's going for my gun. And his partner kills him. Now, Joe Biden, when incidents like this occur, then there should be a trade-off of lives. They killed this black man. Then that officer that killed him, his life needs to be taken as well. And then now we got justice. And then that'll stop these racist officers from killing black people. I mean, it's actually ridiculous. Now, if you don't believe me, if you do not believe me, I want to read it to you all to show that this was really ridiculous. So check this out, right? I'm just keying this up. Newly released video shows deputies confront black man over alleged jaywalking before fatally shooting him in San Clemente, which is in California, right? Orange County Sheriff's officials released video Wednesday in an investigation into homeless outreach deputies' fatal shooting of a black man they accused of jaywalking in San Clemente last year. The release includes dash cam, cell phone, and motel surveillance video that captures the ordeal unfolding from the moment deputies contacted 42-year-old Kurt Andrus Reinhold on the sidewalk to the ensuing struggling of Reinhold's shooting death. No body camera video was released. The September 23rd shooting on the heels of national unrest over police violence sparked protests that resulted in the city of San Clemente declaring a curfew in certain areas because the people saw this and they went crazy. The two deputies involved, an 8-year-old veteran and a 13-year veteran, are full-time homeless liaison officers in San Clemente. Their duties involve assisting those living on the streets and helping them access resources and services. OC sheriff's officials have not released their names. Now look, that's Orange County for us. But now look, let's go back to what their duties are. Their duties involve assisting those living on the streets, right? Meaning if you are living on the streets, and his family said he suffered from some type of mental ailment, right? Or mental illness, then you would obviously know if the man is crossing the streets, he's not aware of jaywalking. He lives on the streets. And if there's no cars coming, no harm, no foul. And at the same time, you wasn't even sure he was jaywalking or not. So why bother the man? You know, that's boredom. That's, look at this black man. That's racism. That's white privilege. That's, let's kill another black man. Right. Walking the streets while black. Their duties involve assisting those living on the streets, which they should be fired because they wasn't assisting him, and helping them access resources and services. And they weren't there to help, they were there to kill. The incident began when the deputies observed Reinhold near the corner of El Camino Real and Avenida San Gabriel as they sat in their patrol car across the street. Now, this is them talking, right? Watch this. He's going to jaywalk. Let me, hold on. They sit in their patrol car, right, betting that this man is going to jaywalk. They said, take a look at this. Now, here's a homeless man. Watch this. He's going to jaywalk. One of them can be heard saying on the dash cam footage. The deputies then debate whether he's jaywalking, with one telling the other, don't make case law. He's telling them, don't make case law, right? The deputies then pull up to Reinhold, who's standing on the sidewalk. After that, both the deputies and Reinhold disappear from the camera's view, but their voices are still audible. Are you going to stop, or are we going to have to make you stop? One of the deputies asked Reinhold multiple times. Now, if I'm walking forward and I don't give a damn if you're a cop or what, you have no right, unless you saying you're under arrest or I'm charging you with this, to even stop me, get in my way. How you know I don't have some place to be? Are you going to stop, or are we going to have to make you stop? Right? Now you put it up for question. It's debate now. Are you going to stop? We have to make you stop. Like, why are you bothering me in the first place, right? Reinhold is heard asking, for what? Now, the deputy tells him for jaywalking. But no, you didn't acknowledge if you felt he was jaywalking. You'd be like, hey, you're jaywalking, stop, we need to talk to you. You put your hands on him, you telling him to stop. You have no, you didn't show any type of authority with respect. Meaning, they didn't feel the need to address him on the reason why they were stopping him. They felt like they just had total control and power. Hey, you stop. And they put their hands on him. It's like, dude, this America, you just can't do that. But they didn't see him as their equal or an American. So actually what they were saying was, hey, nigger, stop. Because I can. Get on the ground. You know. I'm going to hit you a couple of times with my nightstick. Then I'm going to bust you in the head with the gun. You know why, nigger? Because I can. That's the mindset they have, right? So Reinhold is heard asking them, stop for what? The deputy tells him, for jaywalking. Now this is Reinhold speaking. What are you talking about? I'm walking, Reinhold replies. Then shouts at the deputies to get off him because now they jacking him up. For one, you were debating. You wasn't even sure he was even jaywalking because y'all going back and forth in the car. Is he jaywalking? Is he not jaywalking? I mean, this is ridiculous. An argument ensues. Reinhold says he doesn't understand why he's being stopped and repeatedly asks the deputies to stop touching him. One deputy tells him he's resisting arrest for jaywalking. That's ridiculous, Reinhold says. Like, for one, again, you weren't even sure if the man was jaywalking. Then when you approached him, you didn't say, hey, you're under arrest for jaywalking. You just start touching him and telling him to stop, which escalates. You provoked the incident, right? The audio from deputies' microphones becomes unintelligible as the three move away from the patrol vehicle. Bystander cell phone video captures the group continuing to argue as Reinhold tries to walk away from the deputies. He's trying to walk away. One deputy begins shoving Reinhold, right? And both deputies soon tackle him to the ground. Sergeant Dennis Breckner says in the video release, the deputies were trying to gain control of him. Oh my God. How are you trying to gain control of the man when first you just approach him and didn't say, hey, you're under arrest for jaywalking? First, you tell him to stop. Then you put your hands on him. Then you pushing him around. Then you finally say, you're arrested for jaywalking. He like, what? He wasn't jaywalking. Matter of fact, there was no cars on the streets. Once again, the deputies were in their car debating whether he was jaywalking or not. They wasn't even sure. The motel security video, which was previously obtained by KTLA, captured the struggle that ensues, during which one deputy is heard in the video saying, he's got my gun, according to the sheriff's department. The other deputy opened fire a moment later. 2 shots heard, one about 7 seconds after the other. Sheriff's investigators had previously released a still from the footage that appears to show Reinhold's hand near or on a deputy's holster while he and the deputies were struggling on the ground. But deputies have said it's unclear whether Reinhold was able to unholster the weapon. That remains under investigation by the Orange County District Attorney's Office. The Sheriff's Department had previously said the shooting happened roughly 3 minutes after deputies made contact with the man. Reinhold's family, who filed a wrongful death lawsuit in the case in December, released a statement through their lawyers Wednesday saying the new video confirms what we knew all along. The involved deputies had no reason to stop Mr. Reinhold. You know, I'm sorry, man. You gotta do something with these rogue laws because they feel like they have some type of bagging, like that blue wall of silence, like they're higher up officials. Like, yeah, we can kill somebody because, we're going to be protected. It's the judge. It's the DA. It's something that they feel like they're untouchable. Or it could be they think in their minds was simply because they're white, then, hey, and I killed a black man, what's really going to happen to me? I might, go on for a paid vacation for a while, and I'll come back, get my guns, and I'm back patrolling. But in their mindset, they're saying, hey, I can kill a black person. I got my partners that's going to back me up. Video footage, so what? We'll get out of this. America, come on, get used to it. It's the norm, and that's their mindset. And black people are saying, hey, look, we put Joe Biden in office. We want to put an end to this. It's been going on too long. And it has been going on too long. And if they don't put an end to it, really, black people, black men, and black women, brown people in general, really, we're gonna have to put our heads together to really find a way where we can stop this. We gotta pinpoint where the problem is coming from. Is it racism? Is it white superiority? Is it the fact that they know that they're gonna be protected by the judges and by their higher up officials in the police force? It's something that gives them the courage and the motivation to do what they do, knowing that they're going home and at best they'll be suspended with pay. And they thrive off that, and in their minds they're like, okay, good, we got another black man out of this world. He's no longer on the planet. He's murdered. We got another one. Right. I don't know if they part of some organization and they get some type of badge or something, or some type of reward, or they move higher up in some type of order that they may be in, and their way into the organization is to kill a black man. I don't know, but it's like something is going on that we're not understanding. Now, in my latest documentary, which I'm getting ready to release, I interviewed Brother Nasir, who does security for everybody. He did security for Snoop, you name him, Wayne Brady, you name him, right? And on that documentary, he called and mentioned that the white man as being the devil, and he was repeating the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? And I was like, yeah, because I know the teachings too. And I'm saying, well, yeah, if you look at their actions towards us, that is devilishment, right? It fits the definition, right? Now, am I saying all white people are devils? Well, I'm saying, white people, what the hell are y'all doing? Y'all see all these killings of unarmed black men, but your motivation to shut it down is not as strong as the motivations that they had when they ransacked the Capitol January 6th for Trump. See, that was saying, I believe in this mission. I'm ready to die for this mission. I'm finna tear this shit up. And they went in there and they did exactly that. But when it comes to that same aggression and energy with the police on killing lives, black lives, everybody's quiet. You throw some protests here, some signs, and some Black Lives Matter, but man, that display January the 6th, 5 dead, ransacked the Capitol building due to your beliefs that couldn't even been had been proven. There's no proof that the election was stolen from Trump, and his lawyers never laid out a valid argument on that to where it would pass the judge's smell test, right? But Judge Floyd, you seen that. Why y'all ain't run up in the police department then? All right, you seen Breonna Taylor and what happened. Why y'all didn't run up in the police department then? I don't know, I'm just saying. So anyway, in the documentary, he refers to the white man as the devil. And I'm looking at it, but I do know this from this context. When white people were back in Germany and in Britannica, they were, and still do, but it was out in the open that their god was Odin, the god of war. Right. Black people guard the names that we had, whether it was the creator of the universe, Allah, Jehovah. That was the God of peace. So I understand why the term devils was used in referring to the white man, because of his ideology and the basis in which he stood his beliefs on. So it was war, the God of war, going against the God of peace. But the God of peace was saying, hey man, I don't want to fight you. I'm trying to teach you the way of peace so we all can get along. But the black man's God has been rejected. Right. And so you see all of this racism and fighting and such going on. So now the ball is back in the minorities' court, what they call minority, black and brown, right? The ball's back in your court, right? Saying, can you teach the majority of the white race to accept the God of peace, or will they not abandon Odin, the God of war? What it boils down to. And if they will not accept your God of peace, when you accept it, they God of war. Black folks been up under they God of war rule for over 6,000 years. Right. Plenty of time. Now we coming up out from under that, and we been there, done that, got the t-shirt. We coming back to our God of peace. Now you do have some black people, some entertainers and some officials who made money and swore their allegiance to Odin, the God of war. That's how they got paid. But we're starting to point those out because it's in their thinking and it's in their mindset, and you can hear the way they talk and the stance and the position they take on certain issues. Then you know who they are and where they stand, right? They might think that they fooling people because they have melanated skin and that we can't see through it, but the people see and the people know, right? So now you have the mark of the beast, and you don't even know everybody see you that you have the mark of the beast. But with all that said, what are everybody gonna do about it? That's where we at now. As I told you all, with all these natural disasters and okay, let me give an example. If you were a person of color, what they deem a person of color, if you're a melanated person, right, living in California, and you went through those wildfires, and so your home was burnt down, and you had to evacuate and escape, and you had to go through that harsh living, can't nobody tell you nothing. You don't want to hear nothing about no racism and white is this and that, because you seen them struggling right on side of you. So that white privilege shit is out the window, right? It's like, yeah, whatever, you can take that shit somewhere else, right? Okay. Have you ever been through a hurricane and a flood, and you had to get rescued from the top of your roof, a melanated person, or what they deem a person of color, and a white person, both of y'all in the same boat, and the driver of the boat is black, getting you all to safety, and you looking over at that white person, you saying you better not even open up your mouth to even look like you think you got some kind of privilege, or you better than me, or speak any kind of racism, I kick your ass on this goddamn boat because you had the people fooled for hundreds of years like your shit didn't stink. Now we like you, your shit stink just like everybody else is on the planet, right? So all that racism, that's why I said that the other night. Racism died with Rush Limbaugh, buried in the casket. Nobody playing that shit no more. If you was in a Texas freeze just this week and your lights was out, no water, pipes busted, and on your top stairs and it's leaking all through your house and you got to go through that horrible ordeal, right? And you look out and you going out to get some water and you see a long line and you see white folks out there crying and they need food and they power is out and they going through this and going, and you's like, man, I can't really, and it's not you white people, believe me. It's black folks for buying into the myth that white folks shit don't stink. Bought into the illusion that white is right and black is bad. Bought into the white cake is angel food's cake and chocolate cake is devil's food's cake, and bought into all that hypocrisy bullshit. And then when they wake up and realize, hey, wait a minute, I've been duped. Like Malcolm said, you've been had. You've been hoodwinked. You've been run amok, man. You've been played. Black folk, we've been played. I traveled, and I'm telling you, we have been played to the T. And now, playtime is over. You really got to make a decision because when reason being is because some of these devil mindsets, and when I'm saying devil mindsets, I mean those who following the God of War, right? They went so far that they can't stop themselves. It's like on autopilot, right? They can't stop themselves. They don't know, no method is what I'm saying. Nobody came up with a method on how to stop it. So we got to put our heads together, everybody, to figure out how to stop it, to come up with a solution. That's why people be mad at presidents and they coming at Biden. They saying, look, Biden, you in office, come up with a method to stop this shit. We hear the rhetoric, we hear the talk, but we not hearing the hardcore solution. What you going to do about it? And we saying, okay, well, we throwing out suggestions. Okay, I tell you what, why don't you put to death any officer that kills an unarmed man when the officer provoked the situation and a person dies? Then his life needs to be taken too. That way he can stop hiding behind the badge. What are you going to do about that? You know, that's a good way to end the racism and the practice of policing. You know, what's really going on, right? Because enough is enough, so we need solutions. We need an actual solution because I'm thinking at the point some of these white officers, they done went so far and got away with so much that they really can't help themselves. Right? They might be crying out for help. Like, please, would somebody come up with a real solution to save us from ourselves? That's what white people are saying. Look, we racist. We've been racist for so long. That's all we know. Can y'all come up with something to save us from ourselves before we kill up everybody we see, black and brown? So they might be screaming out for help. So we looking at these officials like, okay, come up with something. You say you the president for all America and black people and we all got to come together. Then come up with you mean to tell me with all of those supposedly great minds, you can't come up with a solution to end this racism amongst the police force across America? You can't come up with a punishment that'll stop it or something that'll actually work? Because I'm really thinking that a lot of these officers are saying, hey, man, y'all need to do something to stop us because we out of control and we can't stop ourselves. And it's so deep embedded in us that when we see a black man, especially if he's unarmed, we know we can get away with it. And it's two of us and we're going to be on the same accord when we tell our story and what happens. We're going to go for it. We can't stop. They saying they cannot stop. So they need some higher up. And I'm wondering what's taking these higher up officials so long to stop them. They screaming for help. They got a mental illness. It's been going on for generations. They're looking for a solution within themselves. So, hey, come up with a solution. Black folks will come up with a solution, but ain't nobody listening to, nobody listen to no song singing. Song singing is dead. You see what I'm saying? So, but we got to put something together. Thank y'all for listening. We're not through. This is Vero Pick Radio, and I will see y'all in a few.